Yo guys, what is going on? Got a Mastemon yellow deck profile for you guys. So this is a super fun deck I've been messing around with a bunch for the EX1 format, but actually this deck doesn't really change a lot with the advent of EX1, so it's pretty much all BT6 cards. However, it is a very fast-paced deck focused around Mastemon as well as Dynasmon for your recovery plays. Lots of spamming of your lower level Digimon like Agumon, Mimikmon, etc. So guys, let's go ahead and get into the list. So for the Digi-Eggs, I'm playing 4 copies of Upamon. So I think Upamon is definitely the best one. Lets you trigger draw 1 whenever you are at 3 or fewer security cards, which is kind of the gimmick with this strategy. You really want to be at 3 or fewer security cards to trigger a lot of your effects like the Upamon, your level 5, your Angelmon, as well as your War Greymon as well, to be able to attack multiple times with the Angelmon and then getting some draws in the process. So there's a lot of really cool combos you can do for your aggressive play. So I think Upamon is definitely the best one. I don't think you necessarily need 5 eggs in this deck because you are turboing through your deck at quite the pace. So for the level 3 Digimon, playing your 4 copies of Pulsemon. That's standard in pretty much most yellow decks. This guy lets you trigger draw 1 whenever you do play him from your hand. So this also includes when you play him from Angelmon, so that's really nice. And then of course, like I said, the gimmick being at exactly 3 security cards, you do get to gain the memory as well as draw the card. So that's kind of the ideal situation. But then if you do have 3 or like 2 or 1 security card, he basically becomes a 2 cost level 3, which is pretty nice at times. So then for your one of your removal cards, you are playing 4 copies of Starmon. So this deck, unlike Lord Nightmon, is playing a lot less DP reduction cards, but you definitely still have DP reduction for all of your opponent's little guys or little to mid-range Digimon like those level 3s and 4s. Getting rid of cards like Gabumon and Agumon on the field is really essential versus the bond matchups, and then being able to clear stuff like Mechanori if your opponent's playing maybe a black deck or security control deck lets you swing with more pressure. So Starmon's definitely still essential to the strategy. And then what I think is the best level 3 in this deck for sure is 4 copies of Agumon. This guy has the rush keyword, so basically meaning that he can attack the turn he comes into play unlike every other Digimon. So being able to play him from hand, comboing with your Blinding Ray TK, being able to go to 5 memory and then playing him for a surprise finish is really nice. And then of course being able to bring him back off of either Mastemon or summoning him from the hand off of Angelmon is really crazy. So this is so good against a lot of the slower paced decks like Three Musketeers and Security Control. And then of course you already have a good Security Control matchup because you are playing Mastemon to be able to trash those security cards, not having to worry about the powerful option cards in security. So this deck does really well against those sort of grindy decks, and Agumon is just an amazing card overall. Really wonderful card. And then for the last 2 rookies, just playing a recovery package, 1 copy of Salamon and 1 copy of Patamon. I was going back and forth between 1 and 1 for these. A lot of these ratios, my buddy Dak actually helped me decide for the level 3s and just for the deck in general, so shout out to him. But these guys both do different things, so they both recover, but Salamon has the Undulation you recover if you have 3 or fewer, so it's nice if you bring it out from the breeding area, you just get a free attack and then you can recover off of that. But then Patamon is on play if you have 1 or fewer, you trigger recover. So the on play is nice, especially because like I said, there's many ways in this deck to cheat it out for free, but you do need to have 1 or fewer, so it's more of a late game thing than anything. But guys, that is the level 3 count. And then for the level 4s, playing a lot of the BT6 cards, so of course 4 copies of Wizardmon. This guy has the inherited effect where once per turn when a card is removed from your security stack, you gain a memory. So this can trigger off of Mastemon, off of Dynasmon, even off of TK himself. So there's a lot of ways to basically gain +1 memory off of this. So a lot of times when you are at 3 memory, this makes Dynasmon and Mastemon both a 3 evolution essentially, which is really nice because then you can go about your plays without having to pass turns. So Wizardmon is a really essential card. And then what the other essential card is out of BT6 is 4 copies of Mimikmon. So Mimikmon, on play, if you have 3 or fewer security cards, you gain 2 memory. So it becomes a 2 cost level 4, which is such a powerful tool to be able to have, even if you don't play this off of like your Mastemon or anything, just being able to play this from your hand, go to like one memory, and then being able to like go into an Angelmon to recover, or an the other Angelmon to like stun one of your opponent's Digimon is a really powerful play. And then of course being able to bring it off Mastemon and then gaining 2 memory just because you played it like for free is really crazy. Okay, that's kind of the best combo in the deck. And then being able to bring out your blockers with Mastemon is really nice as well. So of course 2 copies of Unimon and 2 copies of Gatomon. So this might seem weird that I'm only playing 2 copies of Unimon, but Gatomon does fulfill the role of blocker as well if you've got a purple Digimon on field. So that's why she's even better to bring back off of Mastemon, because as long as Mastemon's on the field, then your Gatomon will be a blocker. And then of course on play, if you do have 3 or fewer security cards, you get to recover 1. So that's even better in most scenarios. You can, like, let's say if you're 3 security, you can trash 1 for Mastemon, bring back your Gatomon, and you basically, it's like you never lost a security card at all, and then you also get to have a blocker on field, which is really nice against your opponent. So that is it for the level 4 Digimon. For the level 5 Digimon, playing 4 copies of War Growlmon. Like I said, you don't play that many DP reduction cards in the deck, so you do need to max out on the ones that I am playing. So of course Starmons and War Growlmon, both of them are very good in tandem with each other. So for example, if you bring out a War Growlmon, you can minus 4,000 on something, and even if he's the only card on your field, play Starmons, that's minus 2 extras. That is minus 6,000. Gets over Mechanori, gets over a lot of level 4s, all the level 4 blockers. So War Growlmon's still really nice. And then of course just being able to bring him out like minus 4,000 on, let's say, a suspended Digimon your opponent has, that basically puts any of your Digimon with 10,000 or lower in the threshold of just being able to be attacked over by your War Growlmon. So that's another really good card to just being able to put pressure on your opponent. And then the 8 play cost is also really relevant. Being able to dodge give Wildstormer is really nice in this meta, so that's another great aspect about this card. And then my favorite level 5 in this deck is 3 copies of Angelmon for obvious reasons, but realistically guys, this card is really fantastic. Being able to unload your hand, not once per turn by the way, so like I said before, if you do combo this with War Greymon, the when attacking 3 or fewer security cards, you can play level 3 yellow from your hand for free, is not once per turn. So being able to summon like 2 things off War Greymon's really crazy, and then just being able to stun your opponent's security attack -2 on any of their heavy hitters is really nice. Being able to save you the security cards, because of course you are doing a lot of trashing of your own security cards, so it's kind of nice to be able to stun your opponent in that aspect. And then just 1 copy of starter deck Angelmon to be able to recover 1 whenever you digivolve her if you've got 3 or fewer. I was playing originally 4 copies of this one, but I switched over to 1 of this just because I think it has a lot of utility in many scenarios. So guys, that is it for the level 5s. And then for the level 6 Digimon, you are playing, of course, your 3 copies of Mastemon, 3 copies of Dynasmon, and then 1 copy of War Greymon. So all these guys are really good for different reasons. So of course, Mastemon has the effect where on Digivolve you can trash the top card of both players' security, and then after you do, you get to play a yellow or purple Digimon that is level 4 or lower for free from your trash. So being able to access basically any of this, this giant toolbox of Digimon, your Mimikmon, your Patamon, your Bushi-Agumon, Starmons, all those kind of cards, to be able to just get them for free off of Mastemon is really nice. And then of course comboing with Gatomon because she is a purple Digimon. And then Dynasmon is a really difficult card for a lot of decks to deal with. So this guy of course has the first effect where you get to trash 1 to be able to reveal the top 6. So not is he only a great searcher, because then you can add 2 of those Digimon to your hand. But then of course whenever your security is reduced, if you're at 3 or less, you trigger recovery +1. So that is at both players' turns. So even if like during your turn you play a Blinding Ray and then trash a security card and then you go to 3 or fewer, then you can trigger recovery +1 from Dynasmon. Or even if you TK and you're at 3 or fewer, it's still a really cool card to be able to combo during your turn. And then of course during your opponent's turn, really great against the bond matchups. Being able to just put have that Holy Wave effect, essentially just recover 1 constantly is really crazy. And then War Greymon, just 1 copy because he is a really nice in a lot of scenarios. This can Digimon can attack twice, get rid of 6,000 or less Digimon. Really, really nice utility card. Of course, being able to pair it with Angelmon is really crazy as well. Just being able to attack twice, giving you that extra aggression, and then closing out games is great as well. Especially if you can summon a Bushi Agumon off of him, that's pretty dirty. But guys, that is going to be the Digimon. And then for the Tamers and Option cards, of course, playing 3 copies of TK Takaishi. Of course, TK is, I think, the best tamer in the game still. Being able to look at your security stack, add any of those Digimon, and then if it's yellow, you get to recover 1. Basically, every card in this deck, aside from Mastemon, is yellow, so you pretty much never have to worry about not being able to recover. And then being able to set your memory at 3 every single turn is definitely essential. You don't want to be choked in this meta against stuff like Gabumon. They'll ice wall you, and then you won't be able to attack at all during your turn. You know, there's many scenarios like that you want to avoid, so I still think 3 TK is essential, but not playing 4 because I am playing 3 copies of Blinding Ray. So this is another card that helps you gain memory. So trash the top card of your security stack, and then you get to gain 2 memory. So it's a 0 cost, making it very, very high risk but high reward, because you are of course trashing your own security, so it makes it easier for your opponent to kill you, but a lot of times you don't really care because you're gaining so much advantage off of this. I think it is absolutely crazy. Like Blinding Ray, I think is just one of the best memory gain cards in the game because it's just, you just gain 2. It's so insane being able to start your turn with 5, making your Mastemon Dynasmon live without having to pass turn, or being able to surprise Bushi Agumon your opponent is really insane as well. And then for the last 3 cards in the deck, just playing 3 copies of Wyvern's Breath. I still think this is like hard removal in this deck, or just in most decks in general, is just required because of how the meta is. You definitely don't want to be caught dead without a Wyvern's Breath in your security. Being able to kill a Bond or any powerful Digimon that may be a threat to you is really nice, and then just you know, clearing stuff like Craniumon or any 15,000 or lower Digimon is really insane. So guys, that is going to do it for the list. So guys, that is going to do it for the deck profile. Let me know if you enjoyed this Mastemon deck, and do you like Mastemon yellow, or do you prefer Mastemon purple? If you guys want it, I might do a purple version of Mastemon. Maybe something like Titamon might be a good, you know, good partner for her. But anyways, guys, that is going to be the video. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.